Welcome back to the part 2 of digestion and absorption, chapter 16. So, in the last session, I wind up till the different types of the teeth and the dental formula. So, let me try to understand more and let me give you a clear picture how your incisors look, how your canine, premolar, and molar look. So, in the screen you can have a look of different kinds of the teeth. We call it as heterodont dentation. So, because of the different types of the teeth which are not similar, all the teeth are not similar, so the name has been given heterodont. So the first one is incisor, and the second one is canine, and the third one is premolar, and the last one is molars. I hope you understood now. As I said you, in the mammal's lifespan, the teeth appears twice in their lifespan. One is milk teeth and another one is permanent teeth. So the definition for the diphodont is teeth appears twice in a whole life. Such teeth we can call it as diphodont. So here also I have given you a clear picture that is nothing but how are your incisors and molar and premolars and canines look like. You can have a look, different colors has been given so that you can identify it well, and upper jaw and lower jaw has been separated so that you can understand. Okay, green, purple, pink, orange and yellow color is being given to identify different kinds of the teeth in human being. So the dental formula, as I have said you, the kind and the number of teeth are explained in the form of formula. We call it as dental formula. So there is a dental formula which is present, which usually we follow. The number of teeth which are situated in both the jaws can be written in the form of a formula, which usually has to be written in a hierarchical order ICPM, that is incisor, canine, premolar and molar 2 1 2 3 by 2 1 2 3. This is in the adult form. In case of the child or in case of a milk teeth, incisors, canine, premolar and molar will have in different number. We don't have premolars in our milk teeth. So 2102 will be the formula for milk teeth. The dental formula during the childhood or a milk teeth is 2102 by 2102, and for the adult it is 2123 by 2123. It has appeared for 1 mark question. What is the dental formula for adult teeth? So you are supposed to write 2123 by 2123. Fine. Now you might have heard about another teeth which is going to appear after the age of 20. We call it as wisdom teeth. Third molar appears after the age of 20 years and hence it is called wisdom teeth. So there is a teeth which is going to appear after the age of 20. That teeth we call, that is also molar only, no new name for that. It is a molar itself, which we call it as third molar, premolar, molar, then third molar, and the name is wisdom teeth. Akkal dad बोलती ना. So this is the structure of your tooth. A single tooth structure you should know. You are going to study all these things in detail, my dear students. So please try to understand what is the teeth, diphodont, thecodont, heterodont. Now just have a look on your structure of a tooth consisting of enamel. I think I may say you 3 parts. You just remember the 3 part: crown, neck and root. Fine. The first part is called crown, next part of that is called a neck, and then the inner part we call it as root. So the crown is having an enamel. We usually call it as white part, which is hard, which we use it for cutting and tearing and chewing of our food. Okay, fine. Now coming to the next thing which is present in your oral cavity. As I said, we are trying to understand the first part of our alimentary canal, that is the mouth. Mouth consists of teeth and the tongue. So now you got almost all the information about the teeth. Let me try to understand what is the function of a tongue and what is the nature of the tongue. So the tongue is freely movable muscular organ attached to the floor of the buccal cavity by frenulum. Please underline the word frenulum. Okay, it's important. You should know your tongue is being attached to your buccal cavity. Okay, and the mouth is said to the buccal cavity or oral cavity. On your buccal cavity, on the floor of the buccal cavity, there is a muscular organ. We call it as tongue, and it is attached by a particular thing. We call it as frenulum. Clear? The tongue is freely movable. It is muscular in nature and it is attached to the floor of the oral cavity or buccal cavity by frenulum. The upper surface of the tongue has small projections called papillae. You might have seen when you just put a hand on your tongue, you feel a small bubble like nature. We call it as papillae, some of which bears taste buds. On that you are going to get your taste buds. The upper surface, okay, the upper surface of the tongue has small projections. We call it as papillae, few of which bears taste buds. Everybody know the function of the tongue is to taste and to mix the food with the saliva. It take part for the mixing of the food. The oral cavity now I think leads to, this completes about your buccal cavity. Only we are trying to understand the parts of our alimentary canal. Then we will study what are the glands and other things. Okay, I hope you are understanding. Now let me proceed to the next part of our alimentary canal, that is pharynx. Common passage for digestive and respiratory system. Pharynx is said to be the common passage which take the food as well as the air inside it for the respiration, and the food will be carried out to the esophagus and it will go and settle into the stomach. That is a place from where both will go. Air will enter for the respiratory system to get it purified and the food will enter for digestion. So common passage for digestion and respiratory system opens to esophagus. Then from the pharynx it will lead to esophagus. Opening of larynx, where the larynx are going to open, that place or a small opening we call it as glottis. Opening of the larynx. Now coming to the next one, what is glottis? Glottis is guarded by a flap of tissue called epiglottis. I will tell you this one. My dear students, as I said you that pharynx is only one passage which carry food as well as the air. So it should not get mixed up. There is a flip or a tissue which is guarding this or preventing the food not to enter into the windpipe, that is called epiglottis. When a food material passes through the pharynx, the epiglottis closes the glottis. Please do remember this. Don't get confused. So glottis is guarded by a flap of tissue. We call it as epiglottis. When the food material passes through the pharynx, it has to come from the pharynx. So pharynx is only one passage through which food as well as the air will enter. The epiglottis, what it does, you know, the epiglottis closes the glottis so that entry should be, food should not enter into the windpipe. Now coming to the next part of your alimentary canal, esophagus. So we started with mouth. Mouth leads to a buccal cavity. It has got teeth and a muscular tongue. Then the buccal cavities leads to pharynx. Now pharynx leads to esophagus. Please try to remember the names in a sequential order from the beginning till end. Don't mix up the parts. So esophagus is a narrow muscular tube 30 centimeter long, leads to stomach. Okay. I think you understood now. The esophagus is a thin, long tube which extends posteriorly, passing through the neck, thorax, and diaphragm, and leads to a J-shaped bag-like structure called stomach. Okay. It is a narrow, it is a tubular, round about 30 centimeter in long, passes through the diaphragm, okay, and leads to through the thorax and abdomen, and comes to the J-shaped structure called stomach. Now here you are supposed to remember one sphincter. This is important for the point of competitive. Esophageal sphincter or gastroesophageal sphincter. Both the names are important. Try to keep it in your mind. Posterior region of the esophagus, there is a ring of muscles called esophageal sphincter. Why it is necessary? What is the function of esophageal sphincter? It controls the opening of the esophagus into the stomach. As the food passes from the mouth, leads to the buccal cavity, then it comes to the esophagus. From the esophagus, it has to go and settle down in the stomach. Till it come and settle down in the stomach, it is going to have a, I can say it is a door between esophagus and stomach. Fine. So it controls the opening of the esophagus into the stomach. Is it clear? I hope it is clear to you all. So I will wind up this session with this explanation. So we'll continue part 3 in the next session. Thank you very much.